Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the Icu Tv main news. Let's take a look at the top stories making headlines. President Hichilema urges unity through culture at Umutomboko. Chief Katete pledges support to government development efforts. 2,000 cooperatives urge easier access to agricultural loans. In international news, Israeli airstrikes in Gaza kill 51, including 23 aid seekers. And on the sports front, Zambia's youth handball teams are set for Africa Cup and Continental Games. Presenting the news, I'm Maluva Erje Mwanamujende. President Hakainde Hichilema has called on traditional leaders to use cultural ceremonies to foster national unity. In remarks delivered by Minister of Green Economy Mike Mposha at the Umutomboko ceremony in Mwasabombwe, the president praised Mwata Kazembe for preserving culture, values, and championing development in Luapula province. He also highlighted infrastructure gains made possible through the Constituency Development Fund (CDF). Mwata Kazembe, through Representative Anthony Makua, urged Zambians to reject hate speech and uphold peace and mutual respect. Thousands gathered for this year's Umutomboko, reinforcing its role as a symbol of heritage, unity, and national dialogue. Chief Katete of Isoka has pledged continued support to President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND, commending the government's role in fostering development within his chiefdom. He expressed gratitude for the 100,000 kwacha, 5 cows, and 100 bags of billy meal provided for the successful hosting of the Chizumba Nsonje traditional ceremony. The remarks were made during a visit by Special Assistant to the President for Politics Levi Ngoma, accompanied by Ministers Elias Mwanga, Njavwa Semutowe, and Isoka MP Marjorie Nakaponda. Mr. Ngoma reaffirmed government's commitment to working with traditional leaders, while MP Nakaponda thanked the president for supporting education and called for improved access to clean water. Over 2,000 cooperatives on the Cooper Belt have called on the government to ease access to loans under the Sustainable Agricultural Financing Facility (SAFF), citing stringent conditions and hinder small-scale farmers. Cooperbelt Cooperative Federation Organizing Chairman Kingsley Kiyumbu described SAFF as vital for mechanization and increased productivity, but stressed the need for more flexible borrowing terms. Speaking during International Cooperative Day in Luanshya, Mr. Kiyumbu urged the government to provide accessible financing packages to support smallholder growth. Ministry of Agriculture Senior Cooperative Officer Justin Chanda said incentives are being offered to boost agriculture-driven wealth creation, while Luanshya District Commissioner Paul Malele highlighted efforts to develop solar grids and alternative energy to improve agricultural output. ZCF Cooperbelt Manager Austin Mwemba called for sustained government backing, describing cooperatives as key to economic transformation. When we go on our first break, we'll be right back with more of our local stories.
The Information and Communications University is driving the thrill for the nation in research and development. Enroll now for full-time and distance programs in the School of Engineering, Humanities, Business and Education. To apply, visit our website at www.icuzambia.net or call us on +260 211 221 662 or 0966 342 359. Sponsorship is available. Enroll now.
Thank you for still staying tuned. You're watching the Icu Tv main news. The Lusaka City Council has stepped up its waste management initiatives to promote cleanliness and safeguard public health in the city. In its latest campaign, the council focused on raising public awareness about proper waste disposal methods while conducting cleanup activities in key areas of the central business district, including Freedom Way, Chachacha Road, and Kafua Road. LCC spokesperson has emphasized that effective waste management requires active public participation, and everyone must ensure that the waste they generate is properly disposed of to ease the council's collection efforts and ensure waste reaches designated sites such as Chunga landfill. Residents have been urged to adopt eco-friendly habits and report illegal dumping or poor waste disposal practices. The council is committed to fostering a clean, organized, and disease-free urban environment. By intensifying its cleanup and awareness efforts, LCC aims to curb future outbreaks of diarrhea, diseases, and maintain a cleaner, greener city. Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tavo Kawana, represented by Director of Planning Louis Mwanza, officiated at the launch of Travesty of Justice, new book by Gregory Chifire. In remarks delivered on his behalf, Mr. Kawana highlighted the ministry's commitment to promoting freedom of expression, access to information, and open public discourse, noting that publications like Travesty of Justice contribute meaningfully to democratic development. He emphasized that the book is not an attack on the judiciary but a constructive contribution to the growth of Zambia's legal system and the rule of law. Government reaffirmed its support of literature, intellectual debate, and the rights that empower citizens to speak, write, and read without fear. Citizens were encouraged to approach the book with maturity, openness, and a reflective mind.
Authored by Mr. Gregory Chifire. Allow me to begin by congratulating Mr. Chifire on this gorgeous and thoughtful contribution. Writing a book is no small feat, especially one that dares to question established systems and challenge long-standing narratives. It takes boldness, conviction, and an unwavering commitment to truth and public interest. So when I was asked to come and deliver these remarks, I started to interrogate what the book was all about and whether or not when we are here present as government will be against what is the established norm of government to be present at an occasion where our own systems are criticized. I noted that basically what has been outlined in the book is what the new non-government does stand for. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are already aware, I am coming from the ministry responsible for information and media, which is entrusted with promoting freedom of expression, access to information, and the cultivation of open, respectful public discourse. As such, applications such as Travesty of Justice are a vital part of this democratic landscape. They provide a platform for reflection, accountability, and the testing of ideas, not to weaken our institutions, but to strengthen them through scrutiny and dialogue. The New Dawn government supports every effort that fosters transparency, intellectual debates, and the free exchange of ideas. We believe it is through such engagements that democracy is nurtured and institutions are made more responsive and resilient. This book, as I understand it, is both a personal narrative and a public call to reflection. It asks difficult questions, prompts necessary discussions, and may indeed steer debates. And I hope that that kind of debate has been steered now and going forward. That is not only acceptable, but also essential. True democracies do not silence criticism. They listen, they question, and they evolve.
Over 6,000 runners turned up in Kitwe for the 2025 FNB Kopala Run, making it the biggest edition yet. The event brought together athletes, school children, people with disabilities, and fitness lovers under the banner of wellness, inclusivity, and sports development. Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts, Honorable Elvis Nkando, praised FNB Zambia for its continued investment in sport and called for strong anti-doping education to ensure fair competition. FNB Zambia CEO Ms. Kapumpe Chola reaffirmed the bank's commitment to community wellness through inclusive sporting events. We go on another break. We'll be right back with more of our international and sports news.
Did you know that mental health conditions are treatable and recovery is possible? Hi, I'm Genia Moyo. I'm your host on Let's Talk Mental Health. I invite you all to this show where you freely express yourself, and together we find a solution. For more details, you can contact 0777 93 73 92, and we'll be there to help you find solutions to whatever you're going through.
Oh, thank you for still staying tuned. In international news, Israeli attacks across Gaza have claimed the lives of at least 51 Palestinians since dawn, medical sources report. Among the casualties are 23 individuals reportedly seeking humanitarian aid. The ongoing airstrikes have devastated multiple areas, worsening the already fragile humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip. Medical teams and rescue workers are struggling to reach affected locations amid continued bombardment, complicating efforts to aid those trapped or injured. The strikes have also damaged infrastructure, including hospitals and aid distribution points, raising urgent concerns about access to vital services. The international community has expressed growing alarm over the escalating violence and its impact on civilians. Calls for an immediate ceasefire and humanitarian corridors remain unanswered as hostilities persist. The situation remains fluid, with further updates expected as more information becomes available. Or still in international news, tensions between Cambodia and Thailand have intensified in recent days, forcing an estimated 38,000 civilians in Cambodia and nearly 140,000 in Thailand to flee their homes. The mass displacement follows fresh clashes along the two countries' shared border, raising alarm over a growing humanitarian crisis in the region. Local reports indicate that fighting has erupted in several border provinces, prompting families to seek refuge in safer areas, including temporary shelters set up by authorities and humanitarian agencies. The situation has strained emergency services on both sides, and as displaced populations require urgent food, water, shelter, and medical assistance. While exact details about the origins and extent of the conflict remain unclear, security officials from both nations have yet to issue a comprehensive statement explaining the root cause of violence rather. The clashes come amid long-standing tensions in the area, which has seen sporadic disputes over land, military positioning, and historical claims. We take our final break. We'll be right back with sports news.
At the Information and Communications University, we're not just educating students, we're shaping the future of Zambia and beyond. With a global perspective, ICU offers cutting-edge programs in information technology, business, humanities, engineering, and education. We combine theory with practical skills, ensuring our graduates are ready for the job market.
Whether full-time or distance learning, our flexible programs cater to the needs of every student, creating pathways for success. ICU is driven by innovation, research, and entrepreneurship.
We empower our students to be leaders and change makers in their industries.
Through strategic global partnership, including collaboration with leading universities such as St. Petersburg State University and others, we give our students a competitive edge on the global stage.
Our graduates don't just earn degrees, they create impact. They are leading the way in ICT, business, engineering, and more, both locally and internationally. Join the Information and Communications University, where your future begins today.
Welcome back, and on the sports front, the Handball Association of Zambia, HAZ, has intensified preparations for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations and Continental Games scheduled for 4th to 22nd September in Algiers, Algeria. Both the under-17 and under-20 national teams are currently in camp with 40 athletes undergoing rigorous training. HAZ General Secretary Joseph Changa expressed confidence in the team's progress, citing their discipline and commitment throughout the sessions. Zambia holds the 8th position among 24 African nations, a significant achievement for the country's handball program. Changa noted that the upcoming tournaments will offer young athletes a vital international exposure with opportunities to secure scholarships and pursue professional careers abroad. The squad will be trimmed to 36 players ahead of residential camp in August as final preparations get underway. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the Icu Tv main news. Let's take a look at some of the stories that made headlines. President Hichilema urges unity through culture at Umutomboko. Chief Kachete pledges support to government development efforts. 2,000 cooperatives urge easier access to agricultural loans. In international news, Israeli airstrikes in Gaza kill 51, including 23 aid seekers. And on the sports front, Zambia's youth handball teams set for Africa Cup and Continental Games. Well, thank you so much for staying tuned and watching through the Icu Tv main news. I've been your caster this evening. To catch us, you can catch us live. Find us on our social media platforms. You can catch us on Icu TV, that is on Facebook, and at icutv.com, that is on our website. Please do have a lovely good evening. I've been your anchor this evening, Maloba Eric J. Mwana Mujende. Stay blessed.
Welcome to the Zambia Research and Development Center, an institution dedicated to national development through capacity building and community development. Established in 2007 by a group of professionals and lecturers, ZRDC has since become a hub of research and innovation in the country. Registered with the Ministry of Home Affairs under the Registrar of Societies, ZRDC pursues cutting-edge research to address pressing social and economic challenges. Get involved. ZRDC engages in activities that stimulate international collaboration, promote knowledge sharing, and make research expertise available to decision makers. Our mission at ZRDC is to foster innovation and capacity building for national development. We believe in addressing poverty and underdevelopment through institutional and capacity building, human empowerment, and gender participation. In our quest to foster innovation and capacity building for national development, ZRDC launched the ZRDC University Sponsorship for Capacity Building and Development Program to facilitate knowledge advancement among ZRDC researchers and those intending to join the research community. Qualified Zambian citizens can pursue education at credible universities in Zambia with guaranteed prospects of joining the ZRDC research community. ZRDC engages in industrial and technological research, covering research development and innovative investigations to drive dynamic industrial development at national and regional levels. Join us at the Zambia Research and Development Center as we continue to innovate, empower, and shape a brighter future for Zambia. ZRDC, fostering innovation and capacity building for national development.